Good morning, great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, outstanding morning, magnificent morning. Should I say it? Yeah, I think I should say it. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious morning. Yes, the beautiful reminder of choice that we all have. Remember, you always have a choice. That's where we left off in the last session here when we were going over that chapter that we went over, and there's no such thing as self-sabotage. And it's really important that you get that. As a matter of fact, type that in the comments right now here to set the tone. Ready? I always have a choice. And you do. And what is that choice? It's the choice of thought. You get to choose how you're going to think. You get to choose what things mean. You get to choose whether or not to accept, to reject an idea. Think in terms of, for instance, maybe what's happening in your life right now. You don't have to consent to things as they are. You can change all of that. And once you take control of that, meaning your thoughts, what starts to change is your life. And in terms of that change, it happens in exact proportion to the changes you've made inside. See, think about that. Your destiny is literally in your hands. It's just a matter of you entering into the kingdom of heaven, which is the kingdom of thought. And with that, you can change all the outcomes of your life, how much you earn, what you do for work, your lifestyle. And it's a beautiful place to be. Now, before we dive into this, a couple announcements here for you, and that is that tomorrow at 1:11 p.m. EST, we have Emergence. And in Emergence, we're going to be diving into a lot of what we're sharing here, but more specifically, processes and methods that you could use to embody all of this incredible information. Now, I use the word embody because it's important for you to embody this information. In other words, to connect with it, to use it, because knowing it's not going to do jack shit for you. Memorizing it's not going to help you either as well. See, what's going to help you is the use of this information. And that's what I've done in my life. That's what Dolly has done in her life. And that's what we have done collectively with what we are doing here at Elevitality. And that's what we're inviting you to engage with in your life. Okay, so make sure that you register if you haven't registered, and then also invite other people to come along. It's going to be such a wonderful, wonderful experience that will make a huge impact in your life and the lives of others. So register. Now, let's go back to this. There's no such thing as self-sabotage. Make sure you have a copy of this. If you don't have a copy of this, then click on the link that we provide to you to go ahead and get your copy of this. And the most important thing for you with regards to this is that you just don't sit idly and just collect the information. What's the most important thing for you to do when it comes to this and anything that we share is that you use it, because that's how you're going to deliver the change. All right, you got this? Okay, shall we go into where we are? Absolutely, we should. Let's do this. Okay, I'll go ahead and click on the link here. Boom, there we are. Now, the page that we are on is on page 25. And we went over this in the last session, but we're going to go over it again because of how important this is. Okay. And what's being talked about here is what drives your physical action. So, for instance, if you want to do things differently physically, you've got to deal with what's causing you to either do or not do the things that you do. And one of the things that Neville Goddard beautifully shares in his book, The Power of Awareness, is this thing called free will. Now, yes, you have free will, but you don't have free will to act, meaning to do things physically. Everything automatically happens, and all of that action, the external part, is motivated by feeling. The feeling is caused by how you're thinking. Now, here, we point this out beautifully in There's No Such Thing as Self-Sabotage. See, most of the thoughts that drive your actions and feelings are shaped by deeply rooted beliefs and habits within your subconscious mind, within your heart. Now, this is a really cool heart. Okay, now think about this. Now, in the heart, though, the heart lives here. conscious mind, subconscious mind. The heart is where your beliefs and habits live. Now, this is crazy awesome stick person. By the way, this is coming your way, which is going to be really amazing. We have a beautiful mastery edition of the subconscious code coming out, of which you got this and another beautiful heart that's going to be with it as well, plus a beautiful workbook. But with that being said, the most important thing that you've got to pay attention to here is that those beliefs and habits are rooted in your subconscious mind. Now, one of the things that we talked about in terms of the heart is that that is your subconscious mind. There's a statement from the good book: as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a woman thinketh in her heart, so is she. In the heart is this combination of beliefs and habits, and they are in there. Now, these patterns often form through repetition and past experiences can feel automatic, beyond your control. Now, isn't that interesting how that is a profound truth? Think about when you believe something, you just proceed to act upon it just as if it were true. Why? Because you believe it. Think in terms of habits. When you have a habit, you proceed to think that thought automatically, which then leads to automatic feeling, which then leads to automatic physical action. Now, habits we'll dive into later on in this beautiful book. With that being said, I always love to remind people, I love saying this about myself, about habits, and that habits are amazing. They're beautiful. They're incredible. They're what I call God's gift to make my life easy. That's what habits are for you. Now, with that being said, see, the issue is not about whether or not habits are good or great. The issue is we have bad habits. Now, with that being said, the most important thing that's tied to this message at this particular moment is understanding that they are in you subconsciously and that they cause you to think things automatically. Now, there's another beautiful statement that I love to share with people, and I highly recommend that you write this down and engage with it yourself. Because you're here because you want to make changes in your life, correct? Yes. Nod your heads. Yes, that's what you want. You want to make big, beautiful changes on the outside. Now, remember, there's a lot of automatic that's happening inside of you, which leads to the result. So if you want to change your outer world, you must change what's automatic in you. You must change what's automatic in you to change the outcomes of your life. And that is an amazing thing that helped me tremendously to make changes in my life. Now let's go further. But here's the essential insight. These subconscious patterns are not immutable. The moment you bring them into conscious awareness, you regain your power. It's through conscious thought, actively choosing what to focus on and accept, that you begin the process of reshaping these influences. Now, remember, you can think whatever you want to think. You can think what you please. If to think is to form, you can form what you please. If you want to shift the patterns in you, if you want to shift the beliefs inside of you, it starts with you intentionally thinking things that are in harmony with whatever you want those subconscious patterns and beliefs to be. And again, you're the one who has that power. Now, this is profoundly important because the thoughts you consciously choose create your vibratory state, or what we often call feeling. See, feeling is the secret. Feeling, when you shift how you're feeling, when you learn how to control how you are feeling, you are in control of your life. Now, that is not an easy task to take care of, especially if you're used to the feelings controlling you, and especially if you're used to negative patterns that are there that you're not unaware of. With that being said, you can lead yourself into that beautiful, powerful state or frequency. It's just going to require effort on your part. So here's where patience comes into play, and also recognizing that everything is difficult before it becomes easy. Now, we're going to go further on this, but before we do, our reminder for you, for those of you who are watching this live stream, who feel a connection with this and would love to tap into more of this, watch the remainder of this call live and also access the replays, go to elevitality.com and register for Master Your Mind. You'll thank yourself.